14 works of art discovered in random places. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at one of our viewers' comments. Yao Master had this to say: "Please feature my comment, smiley face." Well, you got your wish. Thank you so much for watching, and also don't forget to subscribe. Now, back to our video. Number 10. An abandoned apartment. It was just before World War II began that a woman fled her apartment for the safety of Paris. Once she was settled into her new home in the south of France, she never did return to her old apartment. Though, oddly enough, she continued to make payments on it. She did so for the next 70 years until she passed away back in 2010. Experts had to enter the apartment in order to catalog all her belongings. Inside, they found a variety of very expensive things. However, it was this painting that was hidden under a layer of dust that intrigued everyone. They believed it could be a painting by Giovanni Boldini. They would go on to find a note that Boldini himself signed and authenticated. The painting would go on to sell for exactly $2.5 million. Number 9. In a field. The beautiful Venus de Milo here was completely found by accident when a peasant named Yorgos Kentrotas stumbled upon it on April 8, 1820, in the ancient city ruins of Milos, when he was working in a field. With the help of another farmer, the statue was dug up in as little as a few hours. At the time, there was a French naval officer on the island and had the statue arranged to be bought by the French ambassador, where it was later given to King Louis XVIII as a gift. He then donated the statue to the Louvre. This iconic statue is most notably recognized for her missing arms, but that's of course not how Alexandros of Antioch created her. Number 8. In a museum basement. This next random place might not sound too far-fetched, but it will in just a moment when you see why. This 2,700-year-old statue that depicts the pharaoh Taharka was found by two Egyptologists, not in Egypt, but in the basement of a British museum. It was left there inside of the Southampton's God's House Tower Archaeological Museum for more than 100 years. This priceless work of Egyptian art was apparently being used as a bike rack by the staff, who were obviously oblivious about the statue's true worth. It was only by chance that the two experts who were visiting the museum happened to notice what was going on. Thankfully they did, and now the statue has its own exhibit. Number 7. Under an entire city. It was back on February 25th, 1978, that a group of electrical workers had hit a large chunk of stone after they were digging up the roads in Mexico City to lay new wiring. They dug for 6.5 feet until they hit the stone. After carefully being unearthed, the 20-ton stone disc was revealed to be depicting the dismembered body of the Aztec goddess named Coyolhuacui, who is most associated with the moon. This discovery is what led to archaeologists to reveal an entire Aztec temple that had been previously destroyed by the forces of colonial Spain. A lot of the artifacts and skeletons that were found at the site can now be viewed at the Templo Mayor Museum. Number 6. Inside a statue. The statue of Buddha that you see before you was created sometime back in the 13th or 14th century and has been moved around from a number of different temples over time. It was finally resettled to the Wat Traimit temple located in Thailand in 1935. It would be 19 years later that the temple would make a remarkable discovery. The statue was to be moved in a newly constructed portion of the temple, and during its move, it dropped due to a rope snapping. This revealed that the statue was coated in a plaster mold and colored. There was an exact copy of the statue underneath, except that this one was made out of pure gold. Scholars say it was to hide its true value and to keep it from being stolen. Number 5. A reservoir. No one expects to find anything when they're doing a repair job, but that's exactly what happened to one local villager who lives near the Hongmen Reservoir in eastern China. It was during the time that the hydropower gate was undergoing some renovations in mid to late January of 2017 that a local noticed a statue's head poking out of the water. It was revealed that the head is actually from a statue depicting Buddha. Thanks to the receding water level, workers from the plant immediately notified local researchers and archaeologists to come and further explore the surrounding area to see if they could find anything else. The statue dates back all the way some 600 years to the Ming Dynasty. Number 4. A thrift store. It was back in the 90s that a woman who was a retired truck driver named Terry Horton was at a thrift store and noticed a very peculiar painting, originally listed at $7. Horton managed to get it down to only $5 and was going to give it to a friend as a present. An art teacher witnessed this and told her that it could possibly be the work of an artist named Jackson Pollock. She had the painting authenticated by forensic experts by using a partial fingerprint and proved to be a match, though some are still skeptical. The painting has been valued at being $50 million. Horton even had a documentary made about her back in 2009. Number 3. Behind a painting. A woman named Laura Stauffer, who just so happened to be a collector and art dealer, was shopping at a thrift store one day when she made the decision to purchase a painting called Shepherd's Call that depicts a dog coming across a lost lamb in the snow. It was painted between 1850 and 1880, and she snatched it up for a low price. She decided to clean the painting, and when she removed the backing, she found this poster tucked inside. Turns out this was an original window card that theaters used to advertise the 1930 film All Quiet on the Western Front. There isn't much memorabilia from the movie, so this poster is worth a lot more than what she bought it for. Number 2. Inside a Couch. A German student who was living in Berlin at the time got quite the bargain and more than what she originally paid for. See, she bought a pull-out couch at one of the local flea markets and got a sweet deal on it. She just didn't know how sweet. It wasn't until she returned home later that day that she discovered a small oil painting inside of the couch. It was called Preparation to Escape to Egypt. Its artist and origin remains unknown, but it was painted at some point around 1605 and 1620 when it was varied by an auction house. An anonymous bidder ended up purchasing the painting for $27,630, which was definitely way more than what the student paid for the couch. Before we reveal number 1, let us know in the comments below which one of these stories was the weirdest, and don't forget to subscribe. And now, number 1, in the trash. Yep, you heard us correctly, folks, and there is absolutely no need for you to get your hearing checked. This completely shocking, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity happened to one lucky New York gal named Elizabeth Gibson back in 2003. She was walking down the street in Manhattan one day and stumbled upon a painting just sitting amongst some trash. So she did the most sensible thing and dug it out to take it home. Gibson spent 4 years trying to find out whatever she could about it and finally came across a website that said it was featured on Antiques Roadshow. Turns out her trash painting was painted by a Mexican artist named Rufino Tamayo and is called Tres Personas, or 3 People. It sold for more than $1 million.